Welcome everybody, this is Shadow Chop from AKU Clan with another Fallout 76 build. Today we're bringing you the one-handed melee or two-handed melee build. And just to switch between one-handed and two-handed, you just switch the Gladiator into Slugger. You just switch each, the Expert and Master and regular Gladiator for the Slugger, Expert and Master. If you want to use two-handeds over one-handeds, I like using one-handed just because they're faster, especially with the speed boost. You can hit and do a lot more damage quicker, but two-handed weapons are also fun to use, and they still work pretty well with the speed boost as well. Moving on to starting off, of course, and special is Strength. Of course, Gladiator, your one-handed melee weapons do 20 plus 20 damage, which goes same thing with each version of Gladiator, so it's a total of 60% bonus to one-handed weapon damage. Or two-handed if you choose two-handed. Only other one that's different in here that we're using is Incisor. Your melee weapons ignore 7% of your target's armor, which is really amazing. So it's basically like an extra 75% of damage, if you would think of it that way. And then of course Barbarian. Every point of strength adds plus 4 damage resistance, max 80. And with the 15 points of strength already, that jumps us up to a see here, it's 60, correct? Yeah, 60 points, so that you get 20 more, which we'll get from over and other things. Moving on to Perception, you can put really anything here, but I chose to put glow sights on just one, because just a 1 point. To do 20 extra damage to glowing enemies, because especially when you're in the harder areas, there's going to be a lot of glowing enemies. Usually they tend to be the higher levels, and also since you're going to be up close, they're going to do a lot more damage to you and radiation damage as well. That's what you got to think about when you're fighting anything glowing or anything that hits you with radiation damage. They're not only doing damage to you, they're also radiating you, which is going to lower your health. So you're going to definitely want to do more damage to them, but you can just use really any one drop that you want to put in here. It just depends on what you want to use. Like if you want to throw a grenade in there, if you like using grenades. If you're like running with your melee weapon away, you want to throw grenades behind you, wouldn't be a bad option. Which you would be doing a lot of running as well. Going on to Endurance. First we got Radical. The greater your rads, the greater your strength. You've seen this being used on my shotgun build as well. You're going to get a lot of radiation in Fallout 76, so it's going to raise up your strength. More strength is going to add to Barbarian, which in turn makes you take less damage. Also, you're going to get more carrying weight. So this is a really awesome tip for you in game if you're stuck with filled out inventory and you're tired of walking. And what you want to do is take your radiation and give yourself a lot of radiation by drinking some water out of the river or whatnot, and increase your rads, increase your strength up by 5. You don't have to do a whole bunch, just enough to get your plus 5. I'm pretty sure you can see on your status. Then let's go ahead and go over next one is Ghoulish. Radiation now regenerates even more of your lost health. Of course, when you get radiated, it increases some of your health, which is really good because when you're playing 76, like I said, you get a lot of radiation, especially when you get hit by enemies. So when you get hit by enemies, they are going to give you radiation and also heal you. So it's good, basically taking less damage more. Next up is Rad Resistance. Just like I said, you're taking all that radiation damage. Might as well throw some resistance up on it so you don't take as much, especially from the bigger hitters. And plus 40 radiation resistance. We're going to have that all the way up. And then last is Life Giver. You gain a total of plus 45 to your maximum health. It's another, you're not going to be up fighting close. You're not going to be able to hide behind cover. And up close, you might be taking shotgun shots. So you need as much health and defense as you can. Moving on to Charisma. Stim packs and radio will work much more quickly. The reason why we're using this one specifically is because you're going to be up close. And you're going to want to hit your stim packs real fast to heal yourself if you get into a very bad situation, especially being up close, and you want them to be able to heal you really quick. Next up, Suppressor. Reduce your target's damage output by 30 seconds after you attack, and deal more damage with Tenderizer after your attacks. So you've seen that in my other video if you watched it. These are really good. You got to have those on there. It's just increased damage. Of course, on Intelligence, melee weapons break 50% slower. You're going to be using them a lot, especially if you're using a one-hander. You're going to be hitting, smacking all over the place. And you want to be able to not have it break as quick, especially if you're carrying multiples. Moving on, we got Agility. We got a lot in Agility. We're going to start from the top. Your action points regenerate 45% faster. Really good for this build because you're going to be running around because you're going to want to dodge. You're going to be running in a lot of circles, moving really fast, hitting. And you're going to want your action points to regenerate pretty quickly. Next up would be Moving Target. Gain plus 45 damage and energy resistance while sprinting. Like I said, you're going to be doing a lot of running, so you're going to want that in there. Now, another one you could put in Intelligence if you want to move things around is that for not wearing power armor, you can get a defense bonus and energy resistance bonus as well. Because this, of course, Moving Target doesn't work with that. But if you just got to move things around to your liking if you want to put that on there. But I don't find no need for it. I used to wear the power, if I'm wearing the power armor, depending on what area I'm doing. If I don't need the power armor from the area, I don't wear it. On this one, you see we got Dead Man Sprinting. Sprint 20% faster at increased AP cost while your health is below 50. Next up is Marathoner. Sprinting consumes 40% fewer action points. You want to be able to run as much as you can, especially if you need to outrun some Ravengers. And then last but not least is Evasive. Each agility point adds plus 3 damage and energy resistance. So just like Barbarian over here in Strength, we got one for Agility. Except we only have 14 points in Agility here, but 14 times 3, 28, 30, that's close to your max out anyways. And that's a lot more energy, that's a lot more, defense. You're not going to be able to get touched. And then, of course, last up, just like my other build, just one drop on the luck, is plus 5 bonus damage. And enemies may explode. It's just more damage added to the table. Of course, as I said, all these are switchable around if you're trying to use other things while you're not doing combat-related things, or if you need a quick one up. You can move these around in-game at any point in time, not just when you level up. But this is when you're going into a combat or you're going to be farming on some enemies. You're going to want it set up like this if you're using melee weapons. It's a lot of fun. It's a really awesome build. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video and want to see more, and I'll see you guys next time.